So picture this. You're just about to get back to your hotel after a very important business meeting and you're stopped at the door. You're told, I'm sorry, sir, you can't come in. We have a no tie policy in this hotel. You've got to take off your tie if you want to come in. What's with the forced fun, guys? Let me wear my damn tie. Besides, it looks good. Judging my style, join me today on Unhospitality for 3 pet peeves that can really kill the vibe at a hotel.
Unhospitality, the #1 podcast in the world.
Welcome back to another episode of Unhospitality, guys, the #1 podcast in the world. We're going to tackle a topic today that I'm sure a lot of you are going to want to talk about as I talk to you folks about topics of what to cover. This one gets a lot of traction. Pet peeves. Now, there's plenty more than 3, but we're going to tackle just 3 to scratch the surface here on pet peeves that can really kill the vibe at a hotel and break trust with clients. So, number 1. Let's talk about this forced enjoyment policies at hotels. I grew up in an era, and it wasn't that long ago, I'm not that old, where suits and ties were pretty much expected business attire for anywhere you were going in the business world. For men, high heels and skirts or dresses for women. I'm really glad that the styles have relaxed in these days, although I also love to throw on a nice suit jacket and a tie. And I guess that gets to the point of what I'm about to say. I got called by a buddy of mine this week, and he told me, Jeremy, I'm walking back to my hotel after a very important business meeting, and I get stopped at the door by a young lady with tattoos all over her, telling me I can't go into the hotel because they have a no tie policy. And of course, I had a tie on. I said, what do you do, buddy? He goes, I looked at her very sternly, and he's not that old, by the way. This is not coming from an elderly curmudgeon who just doesn't have a sense of humor. He looked at her and he said, I'm going to pretend I didn't just hear that. And believe me, if you want my business again, you're going to let me enter the hotel just as I want to. And I guess that's the point. Hotels love to pretend they're curating a vibe, that they're so cool and hipster. But sometimes this forced enjoyment, this idea that you can't dress up or dress as you like, it almost makes adults feel like they're at some kind of kids' summer camp where they're forced to have fun and that they didn't sign up for. What are some examples of this? Well, we just mentioned one. Forced dress code as you go into a hotel. They're trying to engineer a specific vibe for the hotel, a specific environment. They're the cool hotel. We come here to do business, but we do it in a relaxed way. Good for you. That's your style. That's perfect. They have this feeling that seeing someone in a tie among a casual business environment would ruin the aesthetic of the hotel or perhaps make other people uncomfortable. But let's be real. If you're talking about bespoke service that caters to each individual person, who the hell are you to tell me whether I can wear a tie or not? Besides, the idea of shunning the norms and developing your own personal style, it's exactly what I'm trying to express by wearing a tie. It's not that I'm being forced to wear a tie. Sometimes I think a tie that goes with my socks matches up quite nicely. It's the perfect way to present myself. I'm all about this revolution in personal expression and wearing what you want to wear, which is exactly the point. If I choose to wear a tie, guys, I wear a tie. My formality is not a threat to your fun. Other ways that this shows up, you have these lounges where laptops and Wi-Fi is forbidden because you're encouraging you to talk. I'm all about talking and conversation too, but if I'm alone on a business trip and I want to get some work done, I'll be damned if I'm told I can't connect to Wi-Fi and pop open my laptop. There are certain pool and lounge areas that are relaxation only, but then the rules are enforced like it's some exclusive nightclub. Let me open my laptop while I relax. Got to get this email out and then I'm all yours. I can enjoy the sun in the lounge. I guess my biggest complaint with this is that you're treating your guests like they're children, that they're not allowed to make decisions for themselves, and you have to dictate what's fun and what's not. Get the feeling you're more worried about the Instagram look and how you are seen on the gram than the actual experience of the guest who's in house. When you're infringing on their rights and infringing on their taste, it reflects poorly. And think about it like this. If you're there for a business event, I have created this cognitive dissonance where I'm supposed to be here and show up as professional, but if I'm within the walls of the hotel, I've got to take off my tie and have to dress down. Give me a break, guys. Come on. You can't be militant about how you ask people to dress in your own hotel. Let the people wear what they want to wear. It's that simple. It jumps over from being hospitality to theme park management, and I think we need to draw a line there. Bottom line, real hospitality is giving people options, not enforcing some kind of mood or dress code. Pet peeve number 2, ridiculous junk fees. Now, this is an area where politicians are even activated and starting to write laws against some of these things, or at least trying to build transparency, if not eliminate them all the way. The bottom line is your base rate, it's a lie. We expect taxes. We know they're going to be added onto the rate, but then you get resort fees, destination fees, convenience fees, energy surcharge fees, early check-in and late checkout fees, in-room safe fees. Yes, believe it or not, there are some hotels that charge you to use an in-room safe. There's higher Wi-Fi fees that supposedly go beyond the regular Wi-Fi, but it's just Wi-Fi. Normal Wi-Fi works just fine. And while not quite framed as a fee, how about these housekeeper credits that keep the housekeepers out of your room, essentially offering you less service, but being framed as is doing you a favor? A lot of this comes down to revenue management theater. I mean, you're able to keep a low base rate on your OTAs and on your reservation channels, but by the end of the day, when I go from a 219 to 299 in the blink of an eye, you're breaking trust with your clients. You're breaking trust with your guests. Consider the meeting planner who gets a quote from you and they're building a big budget for 300-person conference. Those fees can sometimes add up to astronomical extras that are not foreseen and are not taken into account when making a decision to go to your hotel. The lack of transparency, especially, is what's most offensive there. And what it drives me nuts even still is that most of the stuff that are thrown in as the extras for the resort fee or the destination fee are stuff that's there anyway. Oh, the list goes on and on of the things that give you a little tiny water bottle in the room, fresh sheets, hot water in the shower. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but not by much. The ways that they justify these fees by adding in basic hotel amenities that should be there anyway, it's a ridiculous offense to my senses, and it needs to stop. At the very least, give people an option to opt out of these things if you don't want them. I don't need the newspaper. I don't need to know that the gym is there. If I'm not going to use it, don't charge me for it. And how do we feel when we see these fees? A lot of times we don't even know they're there or exist until we checked in. If I need a spreadsheet to find out what my final bill is going to be, that's not hospitality anymore. That's holding me hostage through your pricing. It's unfair and it needs to stop. Pet peeve number 3. And now we're going to move into the groups and event space. This is where I live. This is how I make my living and what I do on a daily basis. You know, guys, there's very few things in the group and event space that piss me off more than seeing the absolutely exorbitant fees for audiovisual. We all need audiovisual to make the events run smoothly. I take nothing away from the professionals who do their job, who make their events run smooth by providing quality audio and visual services. But let's be real. When you're asked to pay more for one-day rental for equipment that you could go out and buy for less money, something's not right. You'd almost think that the AV was priced by the pixel. Classic AV ripoffs are examples of this. $3,000 a day for a projector and a screen that you pull out of the wall that's been existing there for years. $500 a day for a microphone or lapel microphone. There are labor charges to turn things on and turn things off. And sometimes there's a 4-hour minimum to even be there in the first place, literally to turn on a projector. A lot of these hotels have exclusivity clauses where you can't use another AV provider if you wanted to. You're trapped. Another pet peeve, power drop fees to run an extension cord from the wall to a table that's 3 feet away. Power drop fees? Come on, guys. And how about this one? Internet bandwidth fees, providing an exclusive use to your internet that, by the way, it's already there and it exists. In fact, I recall one of my clients called me. She had gotten a quote for $3,000 for the entire space for internet, which was still pretty expensive in my book. When she decided that she was going to put out a competing bid for the AV services against the AV team that was in house who controlled the internet, she was told that if she used an outside vendor, her internet fee would go up from $3,000 to $24,000 for the same use of the same exact internet. If that's not mafia style tactics to get people to pay through the nose, I don't know what is. It's unfair and it needs to stop. Why hotels do it? Well, it's a massive revenue source, of course. I get it. But what's fair is fair. Guys, literally, I've had clients go and purchase at Best Buy all of the equipment they need, bring it to the hotel, and then leave it on the sidewalk, and they pay less money than what it would cost to get something out of a closet, put it in the room in the middle of the ballroom, and turn it on. It doesn't make sense. Make it stop. You know, it has the tendency to punish well-run events. The more professional you want to look, the more you get nickeled and dimed. It drives meeting planners at times away from hotels and to venues where the AV costs are much more reasonable. It creates a tremendous amount of last-minute stress when a simple request for an overlooked piece of equipment turns into a budget breaker. There's no need for it. And ultimately, when we talk about service, it makes a hotel look extremely greedy and not very partnership oriented. Being charged a fortune to make your event look and sound good is not a premium service. It's a protection racket with a logo on it. It's got to stop. So guys, these are just three pet peeves. And I know if you work in this industry, you've got your own pet peeves. Feel free to share them with us, and maybe we'll talk about them on a future episode of Unhospitality. Thanks for joining me, guys. And until the next time, safe travels.